Have you ever wondered why the things we use every day are designed the way they are? It's a question that rarely crosses our minds, yet the design of everyday objects plays a significant role in our lives. From the shape of a door handle to the layout of a keyboard, design choices can make our lives easier or sometimes surprisingly inconvenient. So buckle up as we dive into the most inconvenient things in the history of design. Design inconveniences didn't just appear overnight, they have a long history. Let's take a journey back in time to the early stages of design, a time where functionality often trumped ease of use. Consider the original telephone, a marvel of its time, connecting people across vast distances. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Users had to remember phone numbers, a series of digits that, if forgotten or misdialed, could lead to a frustrating game of telephonic tag. And how about those early computers? They were a symbol of technological advancement, a leap into a brave new digital world. But to operate them, you had to input complex commands. These commands were like a foreign language to most, a string of letters, numbers, and symbols that seemed more akin to a secret code than a user-friendly interface. The early stages of design were a time of exploration and discovery, a search for the balance between function and convenience. Designers were pioneering new technologies and grappling with the challenge of making them accessible to the everyday user. They were laying the groundwork for the technology we rely on today, but in doing so, created a host of design inconveniences. But here's the kicker. These design inconveniences, as frustrating as they were, played a vital role in the evolution of design. They highlighted the areas where improvement was needed, where the balance between functionality and ease of use was off-kilter. They sparked innovation, pushing designers to refine, reimagine, and revolutionize their creations. So, while we may look back at these early design inconveniences with a sense of exasperation, we should also view them with a degree of appreciation. They were in many ways the catalysts for change, the stepping stones on the path to a more user-friendly future. As we can see, the path of design has not always been a smooth one. But each bump, each hurdle, each inconvenient design has been a valuable lesson, a stepping stone on the journey towards a more efficient, more convenient world. As we move forward in time, design inconveniences evolved, but they didn't necessarily improve. In the mid-20th century, the world witnessed a flurry of innovative designs. These designs were groundbreaking, revolutionizing the way we lived, worked, and communicated. Yet, they were far from perfect, plagued with inconveniences that seem almost comical today. Take the rotary phone, for instance. This device was a marvel of its time, bringing communication right into our homes. But remember the painstaking process of dialing? You'd have to rotate the dial for each number, wait for it to return to its position, and then move on to the next. If you misdialed a single digit, you'd have to start all over again. Then, there were the original TV remotes known as clickers. These hefty devices were anything but user-friendly. They had just a few buttons and often required a strong thumb to operate. And let's not forget the sonic sound they produced every time you pressed a button, hence the nickname clickers. And who could forget the first generation of mobile phones? These brick-like devices were a status symbol in the 80s. They allowed us to make calls on the go, a concept that was nothing short of revolutionary. However, their sheer size, weight, and limited battery life made them inconvenient to carry around. Not to mention, they were primarily for making calls with no internet access or any of the other features we take for granted today. These examples highlight an important aspect of design. Innovation doesn't always equate to convenience. The designers of the mid-20th century were pioneers, pushing the boundaries of technology. They imagined a world where communication was at our fingertips, where we could change channels without leaving our couch, where we could make calls on the go. And they made it happen, albeit with a few design inconveniences along the way. Thus, the Middle Ages of design were filled with innovative yet highly inconvenient designs. But remember, these inconveniences were stepping stones paving the way for the sleek, user-friendly devices we enjoy today. Even today in the 21st century, design inconveniences persist. It's quite a paradox, isn't it? We're living in a world of unprecedented technological innovation, yet we're still grappling with some remarkably frustrating design flaws. Take the humble USB plug, for instance. Despite its ubiquity in our daily lives, it still manages to confound us with its seemingly simple design. How many times have we found ourselves flipping it over, not once, not twice, but multiple times, just to plug it in? It's like a riddle that refuses to be solved, a modern-day sphinx that guards the gateway to our digital devices. Then there's the autocorrect feature on our smartphones. It was meant to be our linguistic lifesaver, our spelling guardian angel. But how often has it changed tomorrow to tomato, or meeting to mating, right in the middle of a crucial text or email? Instead of saving us from embarrassing typos, it often seems to be conspiring to create even more awkward situations. And let's not forget the smart fridges that aren't so smart after all. Ever had one that insists your milk is expired when it's fresh from the store? Or a washing machine that decides to spin dry your delicate silks, despite you setting it to a gentle wash? It's as if our appliances have developed a mischievous streak, playing pranks when we least expect it. We can't ignore the modern car designs either. Ever thought about why the fuel gauge is so small and tucked away in a corner, while the speedometer takes center stage? Or why the air conditioning controls are often so complex, they might as well be controls for launching a spaceship? These are just a few examples of the design inconveniences that still exist in our everyday lives. They may seem trivial, but they're a reminder that design isn't just about aesthetics or functionality. It's also about understanding human behavior and making our interactions with objects as seamless and intuitive as possible. In spite of technological advancements, design inconveniences continue to plague our daily lives. What does the future hold for design inconveniences? As we turn our gaze to the horizon, we can't help but wonder about the potential pitfalls that lie ahead. With the rapid pace of technological advancements, we are venturing into uncharted territories, where the landscape of design inconveniences is continually evolving. Imagine the world of virtual reality. It promises an immersive experience, a chance to explore new worlds from the comfort of your living room. But with this new frontier comes the challenge of designing user interfaces that are intuitive and easy to navigate. It's all too easy to get lost in the complexity of these virtual landscapes, with their multitude of options and settings. The danger here is that we create a barrier to entry, making the technology inaccessible to those who are not tech-savvy. Similarly, artificial intelligence brings its own set of design challenges. As we delegate more tasks to AI, we run the risk of creating systems so complex that they become opaque and difficult to control. The user interface must be simple enough to understand, yet robust enough to handle a broad range of tasks. Striking this balance is no easy feat. Let's not forget about the Internet of Things. As our homes and cities become more connected, we encounter a new breed of design inconveniences. A labyrinth of interconnected devices, each with its own interface and quirks, can lead to a convoluted user experience. The challenge is to create a seamless ecosystem where all devices work in harmony. So as we look to the future, we must ask ourselves, how can we avoid these design pitfalls? How can we make technology more accessible, more intuitive, and less frustrating? We must remember that design is not just about aesthetics, it's about usability. It's about making life easier. In the end, the future of design inconveniences lies in our hands. It's up to us, the designers, the developers, the innovators, to create a future where technology serves us, rather than the other way around. Only time will tell what new design inconveniences the future might bring. Ultimately, design inconveniences impact us all. Whether it's the coffee maker with a counterintuitive interface that slows down your morning routine, or that software with a labyrinthine menu system that makes simple tasks feel like a quest for the Holy Grail, design inconveniences are always lurking in the corners of our daily lives. They're the silent productivity killers, the invisible stress inducers. They turn our attention away from what truly matters, achieving our goals. And instead, we find ourselves wrestling with poorly designed tools. Think about it. How many times have you been late because your car's infotainment system was too complex to operate on the go? Or how often have you wasted precious minutes trying to figure out how to change the settings on your new smartphone? These are not mere annoyances, they are roadblocks in our paths, hindrances to our progress. And it's not just about lost time. It's about the frustration, the unnecessary mental load that these design inconveniences impose on us. This is why it's crucial for designers to place user experience at the forefront of their process. To empathize with the users, to understand their needs and wants, to design with a keen eye for simplicity and intuitiveness. Because at the end of the day, design is not just about aesthetics or functionality, it's about people. It's about making our lives easier. Remember, good design is all about making life easier, not harder.